Good evening. Welcome to Shuddersome Tales of Poe. My name is Rosalie Mackenzie Poe. As you may have guessed, these stories were indeed written by my brother, my half-brother, Edgar Allan Poe. We are not fully kin. I wish to make that perfectly clear. I am told he's somewhat of a famous author. I wouldn't know. We are not close. I know very little about him. I hardly even know why I stand before you this evening. The circumstances are not... In fact, until today, I've never experienced any of his work. Edgar was a very strange boy. Not that I would know exactly. Not that I am familiar with that particular quality. Strangeness is quite unladylike. I'm told his stories are good, chilling, eerie, capable of giving one a shudder. Ladies should never shudder or experience fear. Strong emotions encourage perspiration. Perspiration is very unladylike. Frankly, I'm not convinced, knowing Edgar as I do, that he's capable of a good story, or even a frightening one. We shall see what we shall see. Let us begin. The Telltale Heart.
Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous. Shh. I have been, and I am. But mad. Mad. The disease did not make me mad. It sharpened my senses. You say madness. I say highly developed sense of hearing. I have exceptional hearing. Shh. The scrape of a chair in another room, the fall of a leaf on the ground. I've heard all things in heaven and earth. I've heard things in hell. Hearing things does not make you mad.
Yeah.
Mad? Ha. Sane. Look how calm I am. Listen. I will tell you the whole story. You'll see how calmly I tell the tale. You will change your mind. Morning.
Good morning.
Sleep well.
Like a stone.
When?
I don't know. It's impossible to say. As soon as the thought entered my mind,
Kill the old man. Kill the old man.
it haunted me day and night.
Why?
I don't know. There was no motivation. No wrongdoing on his part. Morning.
Good morning.
I had loved the old man. Sleep well.
Like a stone.
He never struck me, nor insulted me. Good night.
Good night.
See you in the morning. It was never him at all. It was his eye.
The eye.
There, the eye of a vulture, pale blue with a film. And every time that eye looks at me,
The eye. The evil. The eye.
What's the matter?
sorry?
What's the matter? You're staring.
Nothing. Sorry. Lost in thought.
The eye.
Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold.
Kill the old man.
And so by degrees,
Kill the old man.
I made up my mind
Kill the old man.
to take his life and rid myself of the eye forever. Morning.
Good morning.
Sleep well.
Like a stone.
Kill the old man.
You think me mad. The mad know nothing. I know. I am wise. You'll see how wise I am. Good night.
Good night.
See you in the morning. I was so kind before I killed him. The whole week. And then I practiced. Midnight. I stand outside his door. Turn the latch. Open the door. Slowly. Slow now. The old man's sleep must not be disturbed. There's just enough space for me to slip my head in and peek into the room. Ah! This takes a whole hour. Would the mad person do this? Would the mad be so precise? Good night.
Good night.
See you in the morning. Would the mad do this for 7 nights? Midnight comes. I stand outside his door. Turn the latch. Open the door. Slowly. Peek. And again. Good night.
Good night.
See you in the morning. Midnight. Latch. Door. Slowly. Peek.
The eye, the evil, the evil, the eye.
I was waiting.
The eye, the evil, the evil, the eye. The eye, the evil, the eye.
The old man did me no wrong. I was waiting for the eye. Morning.
Good morning.
Sleep well.
Like a stone.
He had no idea what I was doing, what I was thinking. The 8th night comes. I stand outside his door, turn the latch, open the door, slowly peek.
Who's there?
A whole hour I stand in the door. The room is dark as pitch. He can't see me. He's listening for death. The sound of terror. I know it well. It rises from the bottom of my soul. Night after night while the world sleeps, terror echoes up from my soul.
Death watches me.
Fear.
Death is
Fear.
coming. Death is
Fear.
coming.
Fear.
Death is coming. Death is
Fear.
coming to get me.
No!
Come get me.
No! Not mad, not mad. I know it well. That's all. I know what the old man must have felt. But I chuckle at heart. His fears are growing.
It is nothing but the wind in the chimney.
He tries to wave them away,
It is nothing but a mouse on the floor.
trying to comfort himself in vain.
It is merely a cricket.
He knows in his heart
Is anyone there?
it is too late. Death stands with his black shadow before him.
It is nothing. Nothing.
Death approaches.
Ah! There!
Ah! There! Do you see? The eye has opened! Do you hear? The old man's heart. Quicker! Quicker it beats! And louder! Louder! The heart will burst! Someone will hear! The neighbors! The time is now! His hour has come!
No! No! Ah!
It's done. Done. Done? Done. Stone dead. The eye will trouble me no more.
Kill the old man.
You think me mad? A mad person would not take these next wise steps. I cut up the corpse. Oh, wise indeed.
The eye, the evil, the evil, the eye.
Head, arms, legs. Not a drop of blood anywhere. A tub catches it all. I'm as sharp as a... 3 planks up from the floor, and the body goes underneath. Genius! Replace the boards so carefully, so cunningly. Nothing. No human eye.
The eye, the evil, the evil, the eye.
Not even his would have discovered it. 4 a.m. Still dark.
Knock, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Knock, knock, knock.
Well, what have I to fear? My heart is light. Yes.
Good evening.
How may I help you?
Sorry to have disturbed you at such a late hour.
It's no trouble, But what has brought the police to my door?
The neighbors heard a shriek.
They suspect foul play.
My goodness.
May we search the premises?
By all means, officers, by all means. The shriek, I'm afraid, was my own. A bad dream. The owner is away in the country. Come, this is his room right here. Do you believe it? I brought them right into the old man's room.
Everything looks all right.
Sorry to have disturbed you.
Oh, please, have a seat, won't you? You must be weary from this late night adventure. Right in the old man's room. Genius!
Thank you.
Thank you, indeed.
As you can see, there is nothing out of... As you can see, there is nothing out of order.
We appreciate your cooperation.
It's no trouble. Do you?
Yes?
Nothing. Do you hear that?
We have to get these calls. They all have to be checked out.
Stop it!
Do you remember the body in the basement, Bill?
Sure do.
They must hear. They must. They must know what I've done.
All because the neighbor reported an odd noise.
And then there was a body in the garden. Do you remember that?
Probably would have never found that one except for the dog.
Oh, that dog.
Dug right down to a pair of pants.
They're mocking me! Laughing at me! I can't take this anymore! Villains! Hide no more! I admit the deed! Tear up the planks! Here is the beating of his hideous heart!
Please excuse me. I find the air in this room quite dry. That is the real and true reason for this action. I am not perspiring due to any sense of fear. That would be false and not true. Some poetry, perhaps. My brother, half-brother, is also known for his poetic phrases. The bells.
The childlike wonder of winter fun.
The romantic wonder of true love.
The horror of senseless death.
The evil of ghouls dancing on your grave.
Hear the sledges of the bells.
Silver bells.
While world of merriment the melody foretells. Hit a tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. In the ice of your night, all the stars silver sprinkle, the heavens seem to twinkle for christening delight.
Keeping time, time, time.
And a sort of rhythmic rhyme to the tin nation. The music of bells from the bells, 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 bells.
Bells, bells, bells.
From the jingling and the twinkling of the bells.
Hear the mellow wedding bells. Golden bells. What a world of happiness their harmony foretells. Through the balmy air of night, how they ring out their delight. Through the molten golden notes, how a liquid ditty floats. To the turtle dove that listens while she gloats on the moon. To from out the sounding cells, what a gush of euphony voluminously wells.
How it swells,
How it dwells on the future.
how it tells.
From the rapture that impels to the swinging and the ringing of the bells. Bells, bells, bells of the bells, bells, bells.
Bells, 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 bells.
To the rhyming and the chiming of the bells.
Hear the loud alarum bells.
Brazen bells.
What a tale of terror another turbulency tells. In the startled ear of night, how they scream out their affright. Too much horrified to speak, they can only shriek.
Shriek.
out of tune, in a clamorous appealing to the mercy of the fire, in a mad expostulation with the deaf and frantic fire,
Leaping higher, higher, higher.
with a desperate desire and a resolute endeavor now to sit or never by the side of the pale-faced moon.
Oh, the bells, bells, bells.
What a tale their terror tells of despair!
How they clang and clash and roar.
What a horror they outpour on the bosom of the palpitating air! Yet the ear fully knows by the twanging
And the clanging.
how the danger ebbs and flows. Yet the ear distinctly tells, in the jangling and the wrangling, how the danger sinks and swells by the sinking or the swelling in the anger of the bells, of the bells, of the bells,
Bells, bells, bells, bells, bells, bells.
in the clamor and the clangor of the bells.
Hear the tolling of the bells.
Iron bells.
What a world of solemn thought their monody compels. In the silence of the night, how they shiver with affright at the melancholy menace of their tone. For every sound that floats from the rust in their throats is a groan. And the people,
Ah, the people.
they that dwell up in the steeple all alone, and who, tolling, 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 in the muffled monotone, feel the glory and so rolling on the human heart of stone. They are neither man nor woman. They are neither brute nor human.
They are ghouls.
And their king is it who tolls, and he rolls, 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 a paean from the bells, and his merry bosom swells with the paean of the bells, and he dances, and he yells,
Keeping time, time, time.
in a sort of runic rhyme to the paean of the bells,
The bells.
keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme to the throbbing of the bells, bells,
Bells.
to the sobbing of the bells, keeping time, 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 as he knells, 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 in a happy runic rhyme, to the rolling of the bells,
The bells, bells, bells.
to the tolling of the bells, 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 bells,
Bells, bells, bells, bells.
to the moaning and the groaning of the bells.
Goodness, how strange. What a strange way to end. And it started off so nicely. That was not a shudder of fear. I find this room quite cold. Dry and cold. Ah, this next story is about art. That is much better. Very gentle pastime, an appropriate pastime for a lady. I've dedicated many an afternoon to an easel and oils, painting a bouquet of flowers. Ah, lovely. The oval portrait.
Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrops are waiting for thee. Sounds of the rude world heard in the day. Loved by the moonlight have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song. Like starlight moody with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake. awake unto me.
Beautiful dreamer out of the sea, mermaids are chanting the wild lorelei. Over the streamlets, vapors are born, waiting to fade at the bright coming morn. Beautiful dreamer, beam on my heart, e'en as the morn on the streamlet and sea. Then will all clouds of sorrow depart. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me.
I have serious doubts that my brother, half-brother, wrote anything sensible at all. What on earth is he thinking? I almost am convinced not to turn the page of fear of what is written. Fear? Nonsense. There is nothing to be afraid of. There's something very strange in the way you are all dressed tonight. Are you not aware of the proper dress for young gentlemen and ladies when you go out on the town? It's quite shameful. I'm almost have half the mind to vacate the premises at once. I will certainly do so once this engagement is complete. There's a note written here for the Raven, which surely must have been mistaken. It is written here that the Raven is written in the year 1845. That is impossible. That year hasn't happened yet. Edgar certainly does not have the capability to write premonitions. Someone was being lazy with their note-taking. Clearly. The Raven.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary,
Over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore.
while I nodded, nearly napping,
Suddenly, there came a tapping.
As if someone was gently rapping at my chamber door.
"'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more."
Distinctly I remember.
it was in the bleak December.
Each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor.
Eagerly I wish the morrow.
Vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow. Sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore.
And the silken sounds and rustling of each purple curtain.
Thrilled me.
Filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before.
So that now is still the beating of my heart I stood repeating.
"'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door.
Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door.
This is it, and nothing more."
Presently my soul grew stronger.
Hesitating then no longer.
"Sir,"
Said I,
or "Madam," Truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you.
Here I opened wide the door.
Darkness there and nothing more.
Deep into that darkness peering.
Long I stood there, wondering, fearing.
Doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken.
And the darkness gave no token.
And the only word there spoken was the whispered word.
Lenore.
This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word.
Lenore.
Merely this, and nothing more.
Back into the chamber turning.
All my soul within me burning.
Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before.
Surely,
Said I.
surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what there it is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore.
'Tis the wind and nothing more.
Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter.
And there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore.
Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he. With me and lord or lady perched above my chamber door.
Perched upon a busted palace just above my chamber door.
Perched and sat, and nothing more.
Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad soul into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore.
Though thy crest be shorn and shaven now,
I said,
art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore.
Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Platonian shore.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly.
Though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being
Ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door.
Bird or beast above the sculptured bust.
above his chamber door, with such name as
Nevermore.
But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if in his soul in that one word did he outpour.
Nothing further than he uttered.
Not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before.
Then the bird said,
Nevermore.
Startled at the stillness broken,
by reply so aptly spoken.
Doubtless,
said I,
what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore.
But the raven still beguiling my sad soul into smiling.
straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door.
Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking.
Fancy unto fancy thinking. What this ominous bird of yore,
What this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore.
Meant in croaking.
Nevermore.
This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing. To the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core.
This and more I sat divining.
With my head at ease reclining.
On the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er. But whose velvet violet lining on the lamplight gloated o'er?
She shall press. Ah, nevermore.
Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer.
Swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor.
Wretch!
I cried.
Thy God hath lent thee, be these angels he has sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore.
Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Prophet!
Said I,
Thing of evil!
prophet still if bird or devil.
Whether tempers set, or whether tempest toss thee here ashore, desolate ye all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead?
Tell me, I implore.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Prophet!
Said I,
Thing of evil!
prophet still if bird or devil.
By the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distinct Aden, she shall clasp sane maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels named Lenore?
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend.
I shrieked, upstarting.
Get thee back to the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken.
Quit the bust above my door.
Take thy beak from out my heart and take thy form from off my door.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
But the raven, never quitting, still sitting, still sitting.
On the pallid was a palace just above my chamber door.
And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming.
And the lamplight streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted.
Nevermore.
I have a very keen eye and sharp attention to detail. Not only are many of you not dressed in the appropriate manner, it appears that I am the only lady adequately attired. Shocking. I simply cannot be seen amongst the group with such disregard on what it means to be a true lady. How am I the only one that is aware of proper etiquettes? With such an imbalance, it is almost as if I'm the one out of place, out of time, which you must agree is ludicrous. Why would I be out of time? Why the thought is simply inconceivable. Absurd. I know who I am, and I know how young ladies and gentlemen should be dressed. It's these stories. These stories have addled my brain much as my brother's, half-brothers, has become. In his mind, he would suggest that I am out of time. There must be something wrong with me. I must be a ghost, wandering the earth, unaware of my state. I must leave at once. I can no longer be in the presence of this strangeness. I've spent more than enough time with my brother's words. The last story you will have to experience on your own, The Mask of the Red Death.
The Red Death had long devastated the country.
No pestilence had ever been so fatal. Or so hideous.
Blood was its avatar, and its seal. The redness and horror of the blood.
I saw it happen to my chambermaid.
You were in the same room.
No, she had long been banished. I watched the parlor window.
Oh, well, thank goodness.
She cried and screamed and then started bleeding out of, well, everywhere.
Oh, gracious. How lucky are we? Lucky are we what?
To be safe and sound in here.
Her chambermaid bled everywhere.
Quite the sight. Hideous, I must say.
Did she bleed out of her eyes?
Oh yes, quite the sight.
Well, I suppose that they don't call it the Red Death for nothing. There was no Red Death in the court of Prince Prospero. 3 cheers for Prince Prospero.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
When his dominions were half depopulated, he summoned 1,000 friends from among the knights and dames of his court.
And there retired to the deep seclusion of one of his abbeys. The abbey was surrounded by a strong, high wall with gates of iron.
And when the courtiers entered, welded the bolts shut.
There was no way in or out.
Did someone call my name?
We were just counting our lucky stars, dear prince.
We're so thankful to be in here and not out there facing the red...
There'll be no talk of death. I command you to merry and lighthearted.
Yes, Prince.
It is folly to even think of what's happening out there. What is coming up? The buffoons?
Well, I believe the improvisatory plays in about 5 minutes, Prince.
Wonderful.
My friends, the world will take care of itself. Bring on the players, bring on the wine. We shall have nothing but merriment.
Yay!
It was toward the end of the 5th or 6th month of his seclusion.
And while the pestilence raged most furiously, Prince Prospero entertained his 1,000 friends.
My friends, I must make an announcement. Tonight we shall have a ball, a masquerade.
Yay!
Every room in the Abbey will have a different shade, a different theme, a different place to play. Come, let us explore the rooms.
There were 7 rooms. And each room had windows of stained glass.
Whose colors matched the decorations of the chamber.
Oh, Prince!
The first room was hung in blue, and vividly blue were its windows.
Prince!
The second chamber was purple, its ornaments and tapestries.
Oh, Prince!
The third was green throughout.
Prince Prospero!
The fourth was furnished and lightened with orange.
Prince!
The 5th was white. The 6th was violet.
Oh, Prince!
The 7th room was shrouded in black velvet tapestries that hung all over the ceiling and down the walls.
But in this chamber only, the color of the windows differed from the decorations. The panes were scarlet, a deep blood color.
And the effect of the light that streamed through the blood-tinted panes
Was ghastly in the extreme.
Prince, may I suggest that we begin our merriment in the blue room?
To the blue room.
Yay!
In the 7th room, there also stood a gigantic clock.
Its pendulum swung to and fro with a dull, heavy, monotonous clang.
And when the hour struck, there came from the brazen lungs of a clock a sound which was clear and loud and deep.
It caused the musicians of the orchestra to pause.
The waltzers to cease. The giddiest grew pale.
Gracious. The clock, it sounds so...
It doesn't sound ominous.
Not at all.
There's nothing to feel nervous about.
Not at all.
Don't let the prince know how you feel.
Do you ever think that the prince is...
What?
I don't want to say.
Then maybe you shouldn't say it.
Something him mad for deserting his dominions?
Some.
I do not.
All you have to do is hear him, see him, to know that he is perfectly sane.
Dancing, we must have more dancing.
Yay!
Beat, the heartbeat of life.
Three cheers for the prince!
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip.
Who is that? What's happened?
Why has the music stopped? Is something happening?
Before the last echoes of the last chime had utterly sunk into silence.
Many individuals in the crowd became aware of the presence of a masked figure,
Who is that?
The figure is tall and gaunt.
and shrouded in clothes from the grave.
Look at his face!
The mask, which covered his face, was made to resemble a stiffened corpse.
The mask! It looks like
He's bleeding out his eyes.
there's blood on his costume!
The figure had assumed the Red Death.
Who dares seize us with this blasphemous mockery? Seize him and unmask him that we may know whom we have to hang at sunrise.
But a certain nameless awe found the whole party.
And none put forth their hand to seize the figure.
No one? Bah! Out of my way! How dare you! Death to those who invade our space!
The prince has fallen!
Get him!
Death! Death! Death!
Summoning the wild courage of despair.
Death!
A throng of the revelers at once threw themselves into the black chamber.
Death!
They seized the figure
Death!
and gasped in horror at finding the corpse mask and burial clothes were left without them for a body to cling to.
Where is he?
Where did he go?
I have his mask.
Where is he?
He can't have disappeared. He was right here.
Unless... No, don't say it.
The prince is dead and the spectrum has vanished.
The Red Death.
It can't be.
The Red Death had come like a thief in the night.
We haven't escaped after all. And one by one dropped the revelers in the blood-tinted hall.
Is there no hope?
And one by one, they died, each in the despairing posture of their fall.
None.
Darkness and decay
And the Red Death.
holds illimitable dominion over all.
The dreams live. Evil of ghouls dancing on your grave.
Oh, how it rides from the bottom of my soul. A throng of the revelers at once threw themselves into the black chamber.
Villains, hide no more! The Red Death had long devastated the country.
Death is coming to get me.
Merely this and nothing more.
Too much horrified to speak, they can only shriek.
The horror of senseless death.
What this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore?
I was so kind before I killed him.
Here is the beating of his hideous heart.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore!
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Double, double toil and trouble, something wicked this way comes. I knew the toe of frog, wool of red and tongue of dog, and the torque and line will see. footsteps are waiting for thee. Sounds of the rude world heard in the day, loved by the moonlight have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, thy starlight wooed thee with soft melody, gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, wake unto